In this video, you're going to learn what is the fear of failure in sports. Hey there, I'm Eli Straw, mental performance coach and the founder of SuccessStartsWithin.com. The fear of failure is one of the most common mental game challenges that I see amongst the athletes that I work with. The fear of failure in sports means that you are afraid of making mistakes. You're afraid of what's going to happen, most specifically, if you make a mistake. Now we get a little deeper into what actually causes the fear of failure. There are many fears that athletes are going to have. Some of the main ones include feeling embarrassed if they make a mistake. So if you make a mistake, you feel embarrassed because you made that mistake. Getting benched if you make a mistake, right? If you are afraid of making a mistake and then getting benched, that can lead to this fear because you don't want to make a mistake because that means you're going to get benched. Another one is having teammates mad at you if you make a mistake. I've talked to athletes a lot about this, where they're afraid of taking a shot because they think their teammates are going to be mad at them for not passing the ball if they miss the shot. Another example is worrying that your teammates are going to be mad at you if you make an error in the field, specifically your pitcher, right? Your pitcher might be mad at you if you make that error because you didn't help them out. Another fear is messing up and never being able to reach your goals. Another one is getting yelled at by coach for making a mistake. This is a huge one. It can also be getting yelled at by your parents. I've heard that as well, right? But if you know that if you make a mistake, you're going to get yelled at, so you're going to get in trouble, your coach or your parents going to be mad at you, that can be another reason why you are afraid of making a mistake. And then another one is letting your parents down if you fail, beating yourself up, so negative self-talk if you make a mistake. This one happens where you make a few mistakes, right? And you really start to beat yourself up. So moving forward, you know that when I make a mistake, I talk really negatively to myself, which then causes me to feel really badly about myself. Therefore, making a mistake becomes something you fear and you're afraid of because you don't want to feel that negatively about yourself. Another reason is having your stats drop if you make a mistake, having all your training not be worth it if you fail, and then also losing your starting spot next game if you fail in practice. Now this one can be very difficult because practices are the place where you need to be okay making mistakes because they are truly where you're going to learn. If you are already afraid of making a mistake in practice, how much more afraid of making mistakes do you think you're going to be in games? So those are the main fears that I've seen in athletes that I've worked with. And those fears are what are driving this fear of failure. So it's not exactly that you are afraid of making a mistake that's driving this fear. It's the negative consequences you think will happen because you made the mistake. Whether it's getting yelled at, whether it's having negative self-talk, beating yourself up, whether it's losing your starting position, whatever it is, that's what you're truly afraid of, and that's what you're focusing on. And so that's a key element of the fear of failure. You are going to focus more on not wanting to make a mistake more than you are going to be focused on wanting to perform well. As you have these kinds of fears and as you have these thoughts, I want you to imagine what kind of picture are you creating in your mind? What kind of picture are you creating about yourself as a player? Well, if you're going into the game or you're playing the game and you're thinking about not wanting to make a mistake, the picture that you are creating is one of you making a mistake. What do you think that's going to do to your confidence? That's going to drastically lower your confidence because your mind is fixed on this idea of you making a mistake instead of focusing on, I'm going to do well. And that's really where we see this fear of failure negatively impact you as a player because it's going to lower your confidence. Then what happens is as you have less confidence and as you also simultaneously have this fear of making a mistake, you're going to play timidly and you're also going to hold yourself back. One of the most frustrating things that happens when you have the fear of failure is, yes, you may not make a mistake because you're kind of playing timidly and holding yourself back, but you're going to be even more disappointed in yourself because of the fact that you know you held yourself back. I've talked to a lot of athletes who aren't upset because they made a mistake. They're upset because they continually hold themselves back and perform lower than they know they're capable of performing. They're not performing up to their potential. They're not even performing as well as they think they can perform, let alone up to their potential. And it's all because of the fears that are consuming their mind. So if you recognize that you have this fear of failure, and the fear of failure is very common because no athlete wants to make mistakes. But when you learn how to manage this fear of failure, and you truly learn that mistakes are an opportunity for you to grow as a player, and they're okay to have happen. And in fact, the welcoming of mistakes and being okay making mistakes lowers your chances of making mistakes because you're going to perform more confidently and freely during a game. But If you notice that you have this fear of failure, you need to start working on overcoming this fear of failure. And the main way that you can work on overcoming the fear of failure is building your confidence. Now, I've made a video that I'll link right here that goes into more detail on ways that you can overcome the fear of failure by building this confidence, and then also just a couple different strategies that you can use. So I encourage you to go ahead and watch that video if you're currently struggling with the fear of failure in sports. If you have any questions about the fear of failure or any other sports psychology topic, please leave them in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, hit that like button and subscribe if you haven't already. I put out new videos each day on sports psychology and mental training. Thank you for watching, and I wish you the best of success in all that you do.